In the bustling heart of New York City, Jason Caldwell epitomized the classic American success story. As a tech entrepreneur who had built his fortune from the ground up, his wealth soared into the millions, placing him among the elite of society. He made headlines with his groundbreaking innovations and philanthropic efforts. Yet, behind closed doors, Jason grappled with an uncomfortable truth: he felt utterly isolated. With a penthouse overlooking Central Park and exclusive invitations to the most glamorous events, he seemed to have it all. However, each party he attended felt more like a performance than a genuine connection. Surrounded by what he considered yes people, Jason grew weary of superficial conversations that revolved around wealth and status. A sense of disillusionment crept into his life. Despite the luxuries surrounding him, he yearned for authenticity, something money couldn't buy. Friends often tried to persuade him that love could blossom in high society. They introduced him to countless potential partners, but each date ended in disappointment, as he found himself surrounded by individuals more interested in his bank account than in him as a person. The lack of sincerity left him feeling increasingly disenchanted, amplifying his loneliness. Amid this backdrop of affluence and emptiness, Jason began to seek solace in his favorite pastime: long drives through the quieter streets of the city. It was during one of these contemplative journeys that fate intervened. A chance encounter on a rainy evening would set the stage for an unexpected transformation in his life. As he drove past the familiar haunts of his urban landscape, he spotted her, a girl huddled under a tattered blanket on the sidewalk. Something stirred within him, compelling Jason to stop his car and step into an uncertain world that promised anything but the predictable path he had always walked. Little did he know, this moment would change not only their lives but also challenge everything he thought he knew about love and connection. As Jason continued his drive through the rain-soaked streets of New York, the city lights flickered like stars against the darkened sky. It was during this quiet contemplation that he first noticed her, a girl no older than 20, shivering under a tattered blanket on a corner near a small, dimly lit café. Her hair was matted and disheveled, and her eyes were wide with a mix of wariness and hope as she glanced up at the passing cars. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Jason's heart raced. He felt an unfamiliar tug at his conscience. Unlike the polished faces he encountered at glamorous parties, this girl exuded raw vulnerability. She was a stark contrast to his world of privilege, one where wealth shielded him from the struggles of everyday life. He had always viewed the homeless through a lens of detachment, marked by pity rather than empathy. Yet, something about her presence pierced through his carefully constructed facade. As he slowed the car to a stop, Jason's mind swirled with questions. What circumstances had led her here? How could someone so young be left to fend for herself in such an unforgiving city? His instincts screamed at him to keep driving. After all, this was not his world. But against all logic, he found himself stepping out into the rain. "Are you okay?" he asked hesitantly, unsure of how to breach the chasm between them. She looked up at him with surprise, her expression shifting from suspicion to curiosity. "I'm surviving," she replied softly, her voice barely audible above the sound of raindrops splashing against the pavement. In that instant, an inexplicable connection formed, a fleeting moment that would alter both their fates forever. Unbeknownst to Jason, this encounter would challenge not only his perceptions but also ignite a spark of hope where once there was none. As they stood in the rain, Jason noticed the flicker of emotions in the girl's eyes, an unspoken history woven into her vulnerable exterior. Her name was Mia, and she had once been an ordinary girl, full of dreams. Growing up in a small town in England, she had lived with her mother, a single parent who worked multiple jobs to make ends meet. Despite their struggles, Mia's childhood was filled with laughter and hope. She was an aspiring artist, often sketching scenes of beauty that she imagined could exist beyond her modest surroundings. Tragedy struck when Mia's mother fell ill. The mounting medical bills consumed their limited resources, and despair soon overshadowed their lives. Unable to afford treatment and with no family to support them, they found themselves evicted from their home. Forced into a life on the streets, Mia's dreams began to fade like the colors in her drawings, overwhelmed by the harsh realities of survival. After her mother passed away, Mia's world shattered completely. With nowhere to turn and no one to guide her, she made her way to London, hoping for better opportunities. However, the city proved to be unwelcoming. Without connections or resources, she quickly found herself lost among the millions who shared the same fate. The vibrant lights of the city that once inspired her now blinded her with their indifference. As she recounted her story to Jason in quiet, trembling words, he realized how deeply entrenched she was in a struggle far beyond his comprehension. Her resilience spoke volumes. Despite the heartache and hardship, there remained a flicker of hope within her, an aspiration to create art again, to find beauty in a world that had so often overlooked her. In that moment, Jason began to see not just a homeless girl but a woman determined to reclaim her dreams against all odds. As the rain began to taper off, Jason invited Mia into his car, wanting to offer her warmth and shelter. With every passing moment, their conversation deepened, revealing layers of vulnerability that each had kept hidden. They spoke of dreams and fears, of the heavy burdens they both carried, though from vastly different worlds. Mia found herself opening up more than she ever expected. She described her love for art, the way it had once filled her heart with joy, and how it slipped through her fingers like grains of sand after her mother's death. The city that had promised opportunity had instead become a prison of despair. In return, Jason shared his feelings of loneliness and disconnection from a life filled with material success but void of authentic relationships. For the first time in years, he spoke candidly about his struggles, not with business or finances, but with the longing for a true connection. Their laughter mingled with the remnants of raindrops on the windshield as they exchanged stories. Mia recounted tales of her childhood escapades, drawing on pavement with chalk and painting serene landscapes in parks, while Jason reminisced about family vacations and carefree adventures before his rise to success consumed him. Each shared memory bridged the gap between their realities, creating an unexpected kinship. As they moved past small talk into deeper conversations about their hopes for the future, an unspoken understanding blossomed between them. They saw not just each other's circumstances but the human spirit beneath, the resilience that pushed Mia to survive despite overwhelming odds and Jason's yearning for authenticity amid his lavish lifestyle. In that cramped space of Jason's car, amidst the echoes of shared dreams and unguarded fears, a bond forged in empathy began to take root. This connection was unlike anything either had experienced before, awakening something profound within both their hearts, a mutual recognition that together they could confront their pasts and navigate the uncertain paths ahead. As the days turned into weeks, Jason and Mia spent more time together, their bond deepening with each shared experience. Jason was captivated by Mia's spirit and her determination to reclaim her dreams. He often found himself lost in thought, contemplating how he could help her escape the hardships of her current life. The idea of making a grand gesture began to take root in his mind, fueled by a mix of romantic idealism and a desire to change her life for the better. One evening, after a particularly meaningful day spent exploring the art galleries of New York, Jason felt an overwhelming surge of emotions. They had laughed, shared their hopes for the future, and even painted together in Central Park, a moment that felt like a slice of paradise amidst their struggles. As twilight descended over the city, turning the skyline into a masterpiece of shimmering lights, Jason took Mia's hand and led her to a quiet spot overlooking the Hudson River. With the soft glow of the city behind them, Jason's heart raced. He dropped to one knee, feeling both exhilarated and terrified. "Mia," he began, his voice steady despite the pounding of his heart. "You have shown me what it means to truly connect with someone. Your strength and resilience have inspired me in ways I never thought possible." He pulled out a simple but elegant ring, its design reflecting the beauty he saw in her. "I want to share my life with you. Will you marry me?" Mia's eyes widened in shock, a mix of disbelief and hope flooding her expression. She opened her mouth to speak but paused, tears welling as she processed what was happening. This impulsive proposal was more than just a promise, it was an invitation to a new life filled with love and possibility, a chance for them both to rewrite their narratives together. In that moment, surrounded by the city that had witnessed their individual struggles, they stood on the precipice of a shared future, one that neither had anticipated but both desperately desired. In the days following Jason's proposal, an air of exhilaration enveloped both him and Mia as they began to envision their future together. Jason felt a rush of joy at the thought of building a life with someone who had not only inspired him but had also opened his heart to deeper emotions. He found himself daydreaming about their wedding, picturing a celebration filled with laughter, art, and love, far removed from the extravagant affairs typical of his social circle. Mia, still in disbelief over the engagement, experienced a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. The ring on her finger felt like a symbol of hope, a promise that her life could change drastically. As she looked at it, she was reminded of all she had endured and the dreams that had long seemed unattainable. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to imagine a future where her artistic aspirations could flourish alongside Jason's support. They discussed plans for her to return to art school and how they would create a loving home filled with creativity and understanding. However, amidst their excitement loomed societal judgments and skepticism. Friends and family from Jason's world raised eyebrows at his choice of partner, whispers circulated about their age difference and class disparity. Mia was acutely aware of these judgments, feeling like an outsider in his affluent lifestyle. Yet, their connection fortified her resolve. During quiet evenings spent together, they reassured each other through shared dreams and whispered hopes. Together they decided they would not let others' opinions dictate their happiness. They embarked on this journey with a shared belief that love transcends societal norms. As they explored the city hand in hand, Mia's laughter echoing alongside Jason's warmth, they began to embrace their unique story, determined to write it on their own terms. The initial excitement of their engagement became a catalyst for growth as they learned to navigate both their love and the world around them together. As Jason and Mia reveled in their newfound happiness, the reality of their unconventional relationship soon began to cast shadows over their bliss. It started subtly, with raised eyebrows and whispered conversations among Jason's inner circle. Friends who had once admired his success now questioned his judgment, expressing concern that Mia, with her tumultuous past, could bring unwanted drama into his life. One evening at an upscale dinner party, the scrutiny peaked when a close friend bluntly asked Jason if he truly believed someone like Mia could navigate the elite social circles they frequented. The word stung, and while Jason defended Mia passionately, he felt the weight of societal expectations pressing down on him. Each inquiry felt like a crack in the foundation of their relationship, causing him to wonder if their love could withstand such external pressures. Mia, too, felt the consequences of their unconventional union. Despite her excitement about marrying Jason, she was haunted by feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Every time she encountered a stranger's gaze or overheard hushed comments, the insecurities about her past resurfaced. As a former homeless girl entering into a marriage with a millionaire, she wrestled with the fear that she would never truly belong in his world. The media soon caught wind of their engagement, sensationalizing their love story as an American dream narrative or a misguided fairy tale. Headlines portrayed Mia as a gold digger while romanticizing Jason as a savior, distorting the authenticity of their connection and turning their private journey into public fodder. Faced with this onslaught of challenges, Jason and Mia realized they needed to strengthen their bond against the world's judgments. They began to have deeper conversations about their fears and vulnerabilities, reaffirming their commitment to each other. Together, they sought to navigate the complexities of their relationship, focusing on love rather than societal expectations. United in purpose, they vowed to confront whatever obstacles lay ahead, determined to carve out their own path grounded in understanding and unwavering support. As Jason and Mia's engagement progressed, the stark contrast between their lifestyles became more pronounced, leading to moments of friction that neither had anticipated. Jason's affluent world was filled with luxury, where high-end restaurants and exclusive events were the norm. He was accustomed to navigating a social landscape that valued status and wealth, often centering conversations around power, influence, and business ventures. This was a world where appearances mattered, and small talk masked deeper insecurities. Mia, conversely, approached life with a simplicity born from her struggles. She cherished the beauty in everyday moments, spending time sketching in parks or visiting local markets felt more significant to her than attending lavish galas. While Jason thrived in his environment, Mia found herself overwhelmed by the expectations and superficiality that accompanied his social circle. The first few events she attended with him left her feeling misplaced. The chatter about investment portfolios or designer clothes felt alien compared to her focus on creativity and authentic human connections. These differences began to surface during interactions with Jason's friends and family. While they were polite, subtle snubs often slipped through. Comments about Mia's attire or questions about her past served as reminders of how differently they viewed the world. At times, this led to heated discussions between Jason and Mia. He wanted to defend her, yet struggled to reconcile his ingrained reactions with his desire for authentic connection. Mia felt the weight of being seen as an outsider in a realm defined by privilege. Their love was genuine, but it occasionally stumbled upon barriers built from cultural differences and societal expectations. During quiet evenings after such gatherings, they would sit together on their balcony overlooking the glittering cityscape, discussing how these experiences impacted them both. While these conversations sometimes unearthed insecurities or frustration, they also fostered understanding as they navigated through their contrasting lifestyles. Despite the challenges posed by their differing values, each moment brought them closer together. They began to learn from one another's perspectives. This journey through cultural differences not only deepened their bond but also equipped them with the tools needed to confront external judgments while reinforcing their commitment to each other. In knowing one another's backgrounds intimately, they strengthened their resolve to create a blended future grounded in love and mutual respect for their unique stories. As Mia settled into her new life with Jason, the initial excitement of their engagement began to give way to hidden struggles that gnawed at her self-esteem. Despite Jason's unwavering support and admiration, she often felt like an imposter in his world of affluence and sophistication. The lavish events they attended highlighted her insecurities. Every glitzy gathering contrasted starkly with her humble beginnings, stirring a tempest of anxiety within her. She would gaze at the elegant dresses and polished personas around her, feeling acutely aware of her own discomfort in designer clothing that didn't quite feel like her. Though she tried to embrace this new identity, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that she was merely playing a role rather than living authentically. As laughter and conversations flowed around her, she often found herself retreating into silence, battling thoughts that whispered she didn't belong. Mia's artistic spirit craved authenticity and connection. However, the superficiality of high society left her feeling isolated. She missed the simplicity of drawing on pavement or sharing stories in cozy cafes back in England. The pressure to conform weighed heavily on her shoulders, and moments spent with Jason turned bittersweet as she grappled with feelings of inadequacy. Was she truly worthy of his love? Would he eventually tire of having someone so different by his side? During quiet nights in their apartment, these burdens poured out in heart-wrenching conversations between them. Jason listened intently as Mia expressed her fears, his gaze filled with understanding. He reminded her that their love was built on genuine connection rather than societal expectations, yet Mia struggled to internalize this reassurance. The clash between who she was and who she felt obligated to be became a source of tension. As they navigated this emotional landscape together, it became clear that Mia's journey required more than just adjustment, it demanded profound self-acceptance. With each shared story and moment of vulnerability, they began to untangle these hidden struggles, reinforcing their belief in each other while empowering Mia to find strength in her identity. Ultimately, Mia realized that navigating this new life would require courage, an unyielding faith in herself and the love they shared. One evening, as they prepared for a glamorous charity gala hosted by Jason's family, a significant turning point loomed on the horizon. Mia had spent hours getting ready, a painstaking process that involved trying to fit into a designer dress she felt completely out of place in. Despite Jason's encouraging words and his loving gaze, her insecurities loomed larger than the shimmering chandeliers that adorned the venue where they would soon be surrounded by New York's elite. Upon arriving at the event, Mia felt like a fish out of water. The laughter of well-dressed guests and their conversations about stocks, investments, and high society gossip underscored her discomfort. As she observed Jason effortlessly engage with his friends and family, she grew increasingly self-conscious about her past and the stark contrast between their experiences. The feelings of inadequacy that had been simmering beneath the surface bubbled over as she overheard whispered comments about her. When Jason introduced Mia to a group of his associates, he sensed the delicate tension in the air. Questions about her background were subtle yet probing, and comments about her attire felt like daggers to her already fragile confidence. Unable to bear it any longer, Mia excused herself and slipped outside onto the balcony, gasping for fresh air as tears streamed down her face. Jason, noticing her absence, hurried after her, his heart racing. "Mia, what's wrong?" he asked, concern etched across his features. "I don't belong here," she admitted, her voice trembling. "I feel like I'm just an experiment to them, a story to share, not someone worth knowing." The raw honesty in her words pierced through Jason's heart. In that moment, they both confronted the reality of their relationship, fraught with societal expectations and dissonance between their worlds. It was a painful revelation, but it prompted an essential conversation about their fears and dreams. They realized that beneath their love lay unspoken insecurities that needed to be acknowledged and understood. As they stood together on that balcony overlooking the city lights, they took a step toward deeper emotional intimacy. This confrontation became a catalyst for growth. They recognized that if they wanted to move forward, they needed to navigate these challenges head-on. In embracing their vulnerabilities, they began to forge a stronger connection built on understanding and unwavering support, a critical step in defining their path together amid external judgments. Following their emotional confrontation at the charity gala, Jason and Mia dedicated themselves to both personal growth and strengthening their relationship. Recognizing that adversity had brought underlying issues to the surface, they actively sought ways to support each other's journeys. Jason focused on becoming more attuned to Mia's emotions, understanding that the pressures of his affluent life were not just a backdrop but a reality she had to navigate daily. He began engaging in conversations about vulnerability and authenticity, opening up about his own insecurities and fears of failure in a world where success felt contingent on image and wealth. Mia, on her part, embraced her artistic passion more fervently, channeling her feelings of inadequacy into painting and sketching once again. With Jason's encouragement, she started attending local art classes where she could express herself freely without the weight of expectations. Through art, she began reconnecting with the self-assured person she used to be, gradually realizing that her worth extended far beyond societal labels and judgment. As they spent more time together in less formal settings, exploring street markets, visiting art installations, and engaging with local communities, the couple discovered a strong sense of purpose rooted in shared experiences rather than in forced appearances. They learned the importance of trust and acceptance as they faced challenges head-on, allowing for open dialogues about their backgrounds, values, and dreams. The journey was not without its bumps, but every challenge strengthened their resolve. Conversations about finances sparked discussions on values, moments of discomfort transformed into opportunities for deeper intimacy. Together, they crafted a narrative not dictated by others but rather shaped by their unique bond. Through shared adversity and individual growth, Jason and Mia began to not only accept but celebrate their differences. Love blossomed as they recognized that true partnership meant embracing one another wholly. Each reclaimed fragment of authenticity allowed them to build a future filled with hope, a future defined by love that transcended their pasts and societal expectations. This journey of mutual growth became the foundation for their resilience against the world's judgments, reinforcing their belief in what they could accomplish together. As time passed, Jason and Mia's relationship evolved into a powerful testament to love's ability to heal and transform. They learned that true partnership requires an unwavering commitment to understanding and acceptance, especially in the face of life's inherent challenges. Their journey had been fraught with obstacles, yet each difficulty became a stepping stone toward greater resilience. With Mia embracing her identity as an artist, she began showcasing her work in local galleries, transforming her past struggles into vivid expressions of hope and resilience. Jason stood proudly by her side, celebrating her successes while championing her dreams. In this newfound light, Mia discovered not only her artistic voice but also a profound sense of self-worth, empowering her to finally step into the world as an equal partner rather than an outsider. Their wedding day arrived like a breath of fresh air, an event that encapsulated their journey together. Surrounded by friends who truly understood their love story, they exchanged vows that were deeply rooted in trust and mutual respect. It was a celebration not only of their love but also of the growth they achieved as individuals. The air was filled with laughter and joy as they danced under twinkling lights, reflecting on how far they had come from that rainy night when they first met. In the time that followed, their commitment continued to deepen. They navigated life's ups and downs hand in hand, always returning to the foundation of love that anchored them amidst uncertainty. Through shared experiences, open conversations, and an unwavering belief in each other, Jason and Mia crafted a life full of adventure and artistry. Ultimately, their relationship blossomed into a beautiful tapestry woven with threads of redemption and hope. Jason recognized that his affluence did not define him, it was the richness of his connection with Mia that mattered most. Likewise, Mia learned that her past did not dictate her future, it was her resilience and strength that illuminated the way forward. Together, they proved that love is a transformative force capable of overcoming any obstacle, inviting them to embrace new beginnings filled with promise and endless possibility.